Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Your brother, your elder, DFG. Hey, my brothers and sisters. Funny little thing happened last night while many of you may have been sleeping. But then again, maybe you're already aware of this. But before I share that with you, I just want to again give you some context around why I'm sharing or will be sharing this information with you. And then we're going to proceed into our Shabbat lesson on this wonderful, beautiful, blessed Shabbat day. Again, set aside for the set apart, the chosen, the special ones, the ones who the Most High love without any question, with full clarity, with full strength, Yasharel. Oh, and one other thing, just before we get started here, figure I'd make sure that, I'm getting my day started off right. Just a reminder to you, my brothers and sisters. Want to get it. Yummy. From my honey. Whew, that was tasty. Praise Yahuwah. All right, every morning. But anyway, if as you recall from yesterday's message, if you haven't, go back and look at yesterday's message, or the message day before yesterday, I'm sorry. But go back and look at the previous message where I talked about, Russia and some of the things that are going on with BRICS, some of the things that are the challenges that this country is going to be facing now that because of the devaluation of the dollar, because of the Saudi Arabia not renewing its contract, a 50-year-old contract. I want you to remember that number, 50 years. Okay, my brothers and sisters, they did not renew the 50-year-old contract with the United States. So therefore, other countries now that have currency that is backed by gold can purchase petroleum without buying American dollars, because that's the way it was set up 50 years ago. But because now Saudi Arabia has joined up, or going to be joining up with BRICS, the BRIC bloc, the anti-West bloc. Y'all know BRICS again, but for if you need a refresher, remember you're talking about BRICS is the acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, with 5 additional members that were joined earlier this year: Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and who did I miss? I think it may have been Argentina, but I think Argentina backed out of it. Maybe one that I missed in there. Okay. But just so you know, all those countries have come together, including Saudi Arabia, and now they're going to be trading their all the OPEC countries are going to be selling, better said, their petroleum, for other currencies. And the more other countries start to do that, the less dependent on the dollar other countries are going to need or want or dump. Then those in the West, not just the United States, but those who are Western allies, are going to feel like somebody punched them like Mike Tyson in his prime right upside the noggin. And it's coming soon. Praise Yahuwah. I'm not praising Yahuwah because of the dread that's going to be, or the dread that's going to have to be embraced by, those of the West, the G7 nations, you can call it that. But it is what it is. And so now America is put in a unique place where it can no longer use its military might to force its way on the other nations around the earth to keep, what you would call their initiative up front to ensure that they stay the imperialist nation that it has become, but no longer. And just like Yah is going to destroy the rest of this wicked earth that has lost all regard for Yahuwah, this version of Babylon, it is going to fall. And it's going to fall fast, like every other wicked nation and kingdom has. Every currency that was used by every nation, 5 or 6 different currencies over the last several millenniums, were in the unique position that America was in over the last 50 years. Those economies fell, those powers fell, including Rome, and this latest version of Rome is going to fall. And I just want my brothers and sisters to be up to speed and ready for it. I'm talking about Yasharel. As a watchman, I have the same responsibility that our forefathers had. The sons of Israel, they were responsible for knowing what was going on around them with their enemies and their allies. And they were always told to watch, to be careful, to look, to warn the people. Ezekiel 3:17 talks about that. Tell the people. Tell them about things that are coming. Tell them about things that are happening. Tell them about their behavior. Judge their behavior. Make sure there's accountability inside of Yasharel for those who are obedient around their behavior, so that we'd have equity. We talked a little bit about that, in our Zoom hangout last night. Beautiful conversation. But we talked about the importance of not only judgment and justice, but equity. We would call it fairness. And how important that is, and how important it has always been for those who are obedient to Abba Yah's Torah and Tanahk. In particular, Yasharel. And those of us who would obey that, or the benefits in that obedience would be all the blessings that Yahuwah promised us, not only when we leave these physical bodies and go into the eternal life of the world to come, but even while we were here, there were certain guaranteed blessings that Yahuwah has set aside for us. Blessings like you don't have to be sick. Blessing like you don't have to be poor. Blessing that you don't have to, be put in a situation where your enemies or frenemies could ever take advantage of you, and you could do nothing to defend yourself. Nothing you can do about it. And you can read even more about that again in the book of Deuteronomy inside of our Torah 28, chapter 28, from 1 through 14. Very important. Yah reminds us, brothers and sisters, that his covenant is forever. Forever. In other words, it has no end to Yah's covenant. Even, again, when Yah destroys this earth. And it's coming, like a runaway freight train. It's coming fast. You know what I'm saying? But Yah said, even when this place is destroyed, his covenant will still be there. And we will still be required, excuse me, to embrace his covenant. Therefore, excuse me, brothers, the lie of the new covenant, you follow me? It's just, it's just a bunch of, fallacy. Like phallus, fallacy, lies. You know what I'm saying? Deception. So there was no need for a new covenant, because the covenant we had is good enough. And I'll always bring that up. You'll not hear me come out here from my brothers and sisters and tell my brothers don't believe, and not tell my brothers and sisters don't believe the lies. You know what I'm saying? Or to be, so to remember, to remind you, do not believe the lies. That's correct. And the biggest lie that was ever told to us is that Yah, had a new covenant. But you can read all throughout this Tanakh, which is the testimonies, and the Torah, which is Yah's direction, his roadmap for Israel. And you'll never see it mentioned new covenant. You'll see my covenant, my covenant, my covenant, my covenant, keep my covenant, enforce my covenant. But you'll never see anywhere it says new covenant. Although the heathens were clever to try to put or inject, their God, their Jesus God or Messiah, whatever name they give him, or have given him. They'll try to show you him in the testimonies. They'll even try to go as far to show you him in the Torah. Especially when it comes down to Deuteronomy 18:18, when Moses said, a man like unto myself will come, a prophet like me will come, a leader like me will come, and him you will hear. He was talking about Joshua. And then all of the other prophets who kept Yah's Torah. But he was talking about Joshua. Joshua was the one who led Israel into the promised land, not Moses. Joshua was the one who led us to war. Joshua was the Messiah for Yasharel. Joshua was given the commandments of Yahuwah to pass on to Yah's people. And he did. And he enforced it for the 110 years that he was alive. We studied that on the Tanakh study this past Wednesday night. We talked about what happened after he passed away, after he died. How Judah was given the responsibility. Not Judah in terms of Judah, the fourth son of Jacob, Yasharel. No, Judah, the nation. Us. Most of us are here who are in America, and for the most part, several of the Caribbean islands where, Russia is out there doing their, war games now with their destroyers and their nuclear submarines that supposed to not be a threat that's going to go on through June 17th. Keep in mind what I just said, while you were sleeping. They're out there right now. All out there in the Caribbean islands. So if you're out there anywhere near Cuba, between those 90-mile stretch between Cuba and Florida, just so you know, this weekend, while those who are not keeping Yah's Shabbat out there having their party and shopping and marrying and getting married, intermarrying, whatever they're doing, celebrating their festivals, whatever they're doing, getting ready for their Father's Day, another pagan day, while doing all those things. How the old song goes, Tupac song, there'll be death around the corner. I see death around the corner. But Israel, because of our hardness, I'm talking about most of us, not all of us, we're not even paying attention. They'll look at it, nothing new to see there, man. Oh, you trying to scare me. You trying to scare me. There's a big difference than someone trying to scare you versus someone trying to warn you. But what a way to marginalize the truth by just calling it conspiracy or a fear tactic. That is a clever way to keep our people disarmed and unprepared. And since our people, don't want to be bothered by Yahuwah, only if they need him, they gladly take in that lie. And they use the New Testament, New Covenant foundation for which to, justify rejecting Yahuwah. I don't have to do nothing but get up and talk about it and go home. I don't have to change though. Just talk about it, believe it, and go home. Jesus gonna fix it. Let Jesus fix it. Let Jesus fix it. Oh, let him fix it. He'll fix it for you. Kapow! Oh, that was that whip hitting that back. Remind them. Say it again, Sam. Say it again, Becky. What's your name? Huh? Toby. I'm Toby. You ain't Kuta no more? No! Well, here's one more. Kapaya. What's your name again? Ooh, that's Toby. That's a Christian now. That's a good Negro. That's what it was all about. Developing and creating a bunch of good Negroes. Slaves. But again, you want to be there, I'm not here to stop you. If you want to be there, I'm not here to persuade you. If you want to be there, stay there. But just remember, as nothing has changed for your ancestors that were there, nothing's going to change for you either, as you remain there. And when you leave this place, and you will leave, and you open up your eyes in hell, just remember, you were warned that it was idolatry, and Yahuwah saw any challenge to his throne as an act of rebellion, an act of treachery, whoredom. Therefore, he has damned it, condemned it. Just, again, to keep a level, keep some equity here. So as we understand, what is going on amongst our people. So yeah, that lie's been there. But Yah's always going to have a remnant of the truth for the righteous. Those of us who love Yahuwah with all our heart, all our mind, and all of our strength. Those of us who preferred to be in the light versus sitting back in the dark. Hallelujah. But we're here and they're here. And that fleet, that Russian fleet that's out there, again, this is not boogeyman talk. This is just realistic, helping you to understand, brothers and sisters, things are changing right before our eyes. And most of Israel, again, is asleep at the wheel while you were sleeping. Not paying any attention to it. Your government knows about it. They just sent 2 nuclear submarines out of California to watch them. But according to them, that's nothing to fear. Oh no, they do this all the time. Lies. We've been doing it all the time to Russia over, in Northeast Asia or West Asia. We've been doing it over there to them, but they weren't down here not committing. I'm not saying the nuclear submarines are everywhere, but doing war exercises, nah. That's not true, brothers and sisters. But again, I just want to make sure everybody is understanding, because that's my job, to help you to know, hey, look, it's wrapping up. And if you're coming in, you might want to come on in. And for those who are in all those other, religions, all those things you're doing over there, we good. You don't even have to put anything in the comments. You don't even have to tell us about your Savior, your Messiah. You don't have to waste your time. You are good where you are. Yah already told us you are not going to change. Yahuwah already told us 2/3 of you were going to burn in that fire, or better said, 9/10 of you will be condemned to hell because you would not change no matter what happens. You still waiting for your Jesus to come in the clouds. Your 10,000, which I could have showed you in one of our studies just recently. They took that right out of the book of Jasher. The 10,000, angels of Yahuwah. Had nothing to do with no damn Jesus. But that's the lie they told. What did Caesar say? Give them food and entertainment, and they'll believe any damn thing you say. And he got that right. So you are good as far as your elder is concerned. Well, boy, brother DFG is concerned for you. Or whatever name you got for me today. I'm sure you'll have something. But I'm just saying, don't bother us. Go ahead and keep on doing what you're doing. You can miss us. We understand, that you don't give a damn. When you hear the truth. You don't want to hear this. So you're going over there, while we, go over there and just have your fun. I'm going to leave that right there. I'm going to talk about some of the other heathens, the Tony Evans and the rest of them. But, Yah is exposing them for what they are. All these so-called Ahawashais believers, these Yahushua believers, the God of no name believers. Yeah, you too. All praises to the Most High. Who is the Most High? You ask somebody who's practicing Hinduism, he's going to tell you Kali. You go over to ask an Asian, more than likely, at least one from East Asia, they're probably going to tell you the Most High is Buddha. You go down in there with that area they call so-called Middle East in Africa, they're going to probably tell you Allah. So who are you talking about? Who you want us to pray to when you are afraid to say Yahuwah? Yet all through the book it says Yahuwah. That's my name. That's what they call me. So anyway, 50 years ago, something was happening in America, or was discontinued in America. The program was still there, but there was no enforcement of it. And this is where I'm getting to before we get into the book part of our study. I want you to listen to this while I read this to you, brothers and sisters. All right? Now remember, up until last weekend, June 9th to be exact, June 8th, June 9th, the whole world, if they needed to get, petroleum, we call it oil, never can say that word right, you had to buy it from you had to buy it with United States dollars, so you had to go to the International Monetary Fund or wherever your country went, the World Bank, to bring your currency, your gold, for whatever petroleum you need, and you gave them your money. They in turn transferred you dollars, and then you took those dollars and you went to the OPEC countries, in particular Saudi Arabia, and then you paid them, and then they shipped you oil. Well, the middleman is cut out now. So in the United States would have been the middleman. They've cut him out. Now they can go right to to the source. They don't need United States anymore for that. And if you only knew how much of this economy is propped up by the petrodollar, you would not dismiss what I'm saying. And even if they continue to dismiss it, especially, really everyone, but especially though everyone in the West, but in the rest of the world too, because a lot of things linked to that dollar, but in particular the West and United States. And I was saying, if when America sneezes, the poor of America catch a cold. Well, America just got pneumonia. And the rest before long gonna be, how you say, on some type of respiratory device. As the old saying, one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel. Especially if you remain asleep. You don't want to hear this. I don't fear nothing. I don't believe in fear. Well, neither do I. False evidence appearing real, right? That's that acronym. You got the BRICS acronym and you got the fear acronym. False evidence appearing real. Fear. False evidence. Remember that part. But see, I'm not talking false evidence over here. So I'm not pushing fear. I'm talking about reality. I'm talking about what's happening. I'm prophesying based off of what Yah is sharing to you what is coming. And warning you that if you do nothing, your situation is not going to be much different than that 90-year-old man that I talked about last Shabbat, who was beat to death because he wouldn't eat a pig. Or that mother and her 7 sons that we talked about 2 Tanakh studies ago, or at least precept-wise, who ended up having to lose all of her children and her own life because, again, she stayed in the place. She ignored a warning. He, the older man too, and they trusted the government. You can read about that in 1 Maccabees chapter 1. That men, overseers, men of Israel told other Israelites, trust the government. Trust the Democrats. Trust the Republicans. Trust Biden or trust you. Oh, you gotta, I don't trust nobody, but I'm gonna vote because all people died for the vote. That's a damn lie. Yeah, people died trying to vote. They ain't died for no damn vote. The vote was given in the, what I want to say is that the 15th Amendment, or the 15th Amendment, the right to vote. But again, that's the, I don't want to lose the big focus. Back to what happened 50 years ago. We went on we got off the gold exchange and went to oil to back up the dollar. And now that's over with. But since that's over with, this is what they did while you were sleeping. Watch this. House passes defense bill automatically registering men 18 to 26 for the draft. The House of Representatives, in other words, your Congress, whether you believe in them or you are with them or you voted or not voted, doesn't matter. The law now, the lawmakers now decided yesterday to pass a bill automatically drafting men that from 18 years old to 26. Let's go on. Let's see here. The House of Representatives passed a measure on Friday to automatically register men 18 to 26 for selective service, which means the draft. It was part of the annual National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA, which sets out the U.S. government military and national security priorities over the next fiscal year. Think they know something? You think they know something is coming by the end of 2025? You guys remember those folks said from between 23 to the year 2023 to the year 2025, they were advising people not to even have children. Do y'all remember that? If you've been following this channel, Google executives were saying that. I would advise anybody over the next 2 to 3 years, things gonna get really rough. Don't have any children. That's what they said. That's not what I said. That's what they said. We already know about the ones who talked about if you took the jab, that between the year 3 and year 5, or 3 to 5 years after you took it, especially if you took all 3 of them, what was going to happen? Well, here we go. Let's read on. It was part of the Annual Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, which sets out the U.S. government's military and national security priorities over the next fiscal year. This year, the NDAA, or the Defense Authorization Act, authorized $195 billion in military spending, a $9 billion increase from fiscal year 2024. Because that's for those who say there's nothing going on out there. And this whole BRICS thing is just theatrics, just scare tactics. Well, it seems to me somebody pretty damn scared when they're about to spend $1 trillion to get your sons and ultimately your daughters in uniform, to pick up a gun. What's that old saying? Rich men start war, poor men fight them. So if you got any kids, right now, male sons 18 to 26, you might want to have a conversation with them. But let's continue on. It says, while it hasn't been invoked over 50 years, remember I told you about the whole 50-year deal with the America Petroleum Agreement with Saudi Arabia coming to an end. Now, 50 years since they were enforcing this, now they decided to reinvest in it and enforce it. You think they know something that they're not telling you openly? Well, fine. I'm telling you openly. That's what a watchman does. He warns the people. And the smart and the wise amongst them, they listen to the watchman so that they can be blessed by Yahuwah, because the watchman will tell them, thus says Yahuwah. Because he has no other direction other than the direction that Yah puts in his mouth and puts before his face, called the Torah, with all of the testimonies to remind Israel we have enemies all around us from every nation who, if they have no other priority, despise the chosen of Yahshua. What Psalms 83 is talking about. They're confederate. They're in league with one another. And what's their central purpose? What's their central purpose according to Psalms 83? And other places you can read in the book. What Balak and Balaam was trying to negotiate. To get Yah to curse us. To destroy us. to remove us from the earth. Scorched earth tactics. And they're going to do everything in their power. That's why Zechariah 14:12 talks about eyes melting in the sockets, tongue in the mouth. Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 12 through 13. There and about. You can read it. Scorched fire. Disease plagues. We already bird flu from milk now, cow's milk. We talked about that too. But let me continue on here. It says here, again, it has been evoked. It had not been invoked for over a half of a century, 50 years. It's mandatory now for all male U.S. citizens to register to the Select Service, also known as the military draft, when they turn 18. Failure to register is classified as a felony and comes with a host of legal challenges if you fail to do it. You wonder why Biden hired those 87,000 IRS agents and trained them to use deadly force about 3 years ago? For all you Democrats who love your Joe Biden, remember when he said, well, we're going to use them to audit? Audit who? Audit who? And for what? Well, when you become a federal employee, especially one who has been commissioned or licensed by your government, the government has the power to say, we're going to change up something here. Instead of us, auditing those who did not doing and looking to see if they paid the proper amount of taxes, we're going to go now and see if they registered themselves for the draft. And if they didn't, we're going to arrest them because now they have committed a felony. So that's for all of you out there saying, well, I ain't doing it anyway. Don't matter. I hope you're ready to die for it. Or maybe you're ready to kill for it. It don't matter what you think and say. It matters to you, no question. But just because you ain't going to do it don't mean they're not going to force you to do it. They had 87,000 of them been training for 3 years. While you were sleeping. I wasn't. I was peeping. What they up to next, Yahuwah? But let me continue on here, just so you know. And so when you commit that felony, if you are one who says, I ain't fighting for this country, I don't care, I'll die. Right, give yourself a check. Well, you're going to go to jail first. You're going to go into one of them FEMA camps. And then they're going to, see if they can convince you, persuade you by force. By any means necessary, like Malcolm say. See if they can give you a new attitude, give you an attitude adjustment. For the most part, it typically works after a few, whippings and beatings and torture. Maybe pulling out a fingernail or putting a leather strap to your rump nakedly. About 4 or 5 of that. I was reading about that in this book, Worse Than Slavery, when they were trying to get the prisoners to do their jobs and they wouldn't do it. That's the Edomites, because the Edomites, they didn't want to be out in that sun. They said that was nigger work. They didn't want to be out there. The farmer said, well, they put the strap on them about 4 or 5 times. He said after that, the Edomites, they were more than happy to get out of their field and pick that cotton. They didn't want to do nigger work, but they were working like a nigger then. Hallelujah. So we'll see all that bravado, what they're not going to do. Let's go on here. Let's see. It says here, in addition, continue on, sorry. Say the supporters of the amendment argue that it could cut down on bureaucratic red tape and help the U.S. citizens avoid unnecessary legal issues, as well as cutting down on the taxpayer dollars, Internal Revenue agents, IRS agents, down on taxpayers' dollars going forward, prosecuting those cases. It was led by Representative Christy Houlihan, a Democrat, for all you Democrat-loving Israelites, and passed in the House of Armed Service Committee the version of the NDAA in May. The NDA advanced through the committee in an overwhelming 57 to 1 vote. 57 to 1 vote. Sounds like they are looking to get somebody off the couch. See how much you've learned by playing what's that video game? What's that one? Call of Duty? They're gonna test your Call of Duty skills now, young man. No, and young woman, it's only gonna be a matter of time. You'll be added to that. But right now, young men. So I hope you learned a lot. I hope you were paying attention to your game, your Xbox. Because now they're gonna see what you learned in real time. And see them bullets that will play bullets in that game, that matrix that you found yourself in. But now that matrix is gonna become reality, and they're gonna be real bullets coming. And since you have rebelled against Yahuwah, and think that, well, when they draft me, I'm going to turn back to Yahuwah. That ain't going to happen like that. Yah said in your day of trouble, he said he's going to laugh at you in your time of calamity. Go read the book of Proverbs. He said, when I warned you, like your brother is doing, your elder is doing, Yah said, when I warned you, you didn't want to hear it. Now your time of trouble has come, and now you want me to be with you, and Yah said, I'm going to laugh at you. Oh yeah, it's in the book. Go read it for yourself. Go read it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. As the old saying goes, if you don't come now, you're going to find yourself between a rock and a hard place. Brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers. And it's not going to be anything nice. So let's read it. Let's go on a little bit farther. Almost done here. Say this will also reduce resources, basically meaning money, because they ain't gonna have a lot of it flowing around anyway, or it's not gonna be worth anyway, not gonna be worth as much as it had been. Nothing to prop it up anymore. Towards towards readiness, and towards mobilization. Mobilization means you gonna go fight. Oh yeah. A couple of minutes ago we said, why do everybody say, I'll die for Yahweh? Now are you willing to kill for him? Better yet, are you willing to kill for your government? Because mobilization saying they sending you to the battlefront. They sending you where how you say where it's hot. They're sending you to a hot war, not a cold war where they just bluff each other. Who got the biggest phallus, for lack of a better word. Not what someone will get you to believe. Oh, they just bluffing. No, they're not this time. When they say the word mobilization, that means sending your ass to war. Just saying. Said rather than towards education and advertising campaigns driven to register people. So they said they ain't gonna do no more, army commercials. They're no longer gonna use the NFL to promote recruitment. No, they said we're just gonna put you in the draft. We're gonna put you in, register you in when you get 18. And you had better show up, or it's a felony, and we're going to take these armed, trained agents, and they're going to come and get you. And you say, well, I'm going to just hide. Well, let me tell you something about that. How many of you guys remember the COVID contact tracers? Remember those? They hired some for, they said, what do they call them? I think it was called contact tracers. Y'all remember that group? Not the IRS agent, the contact tracers. In other words, if you had any symptoms that appeared to be, COVID-like, they were to report you to the local, health associations. And they were supposed to come to your home, right? And take you out of there, right? And if you had any children, them out of there too. And bring you to a place where you could be quarantined. Thank FEMA camp again. Well, they're still here as well. They didn't eliminate those jobs. They did it in plain sight, but again, while you were sleeping. I mean, somebody might say, well, brother, how you know that? What do you mean how I know that? That was all public knowledge. They told everybody they were doing this. where everybody was home, social distancing and all that other stuff, while our daughters were stripping on OnlyFans, to get $1, and the men were sitting around, playing Xbox when they got their, what they call that, their PPPC money, you know what I'm saying? They're getting their little checks every week, $600, whatever they were getting, buying games and more games and toys for boys. The Biden administration was just setting you up like a Christmas hog or Thanksgiving turkey. Both unclean animals, by the way, but I'm going to get into that. That's what they were doing, so that's how I know. Yeah, I'm probably smarter than some of you because I pay attention where you were playing, I don't know, whatever you were playing. So, here I am. There you are. Now what you gonna do? A little bit more, then we're done. The National Defense, Act, people. The NDAA also included the largest ever military pay increase in history with a 19.5% increase for junior enlisted troops. But that's not most of you. And a 4.5% increase for everybody else. So that means if they were paying you $1, you're going to get $1.05. You'll get a nickel. Just add 4.5% to whatever the base military pay is. They're still going to tax you though. Don't forget. Or maybe not. I don't know how that works in the military. But they'll find a way to get it back. But then again, if they're sending you out on the front, they ain't going to have to worry about too many of you spending that money. It also included funding for 2 Virginia-class submarines and the establishment of a drone force within the United States Army, among other provisions. Okay? So while you were sleeping, your ass got drafted. At least some of you. And they're going to be rolling it out really fast. Because whether you want to deal with it or not, this book says another battle had to happen. They go around saying World War III. This book says another battle had to happen, a final battle. And by the way, if you want to see that or read that, I'm going to put that article in the description. I'll put the link in the description box on this video, okay? But before you do that, be sure you thumb up the video so everybody else can know too. All right? Thumb it up. Informational purposes. Like or don't like, don't have, just thumb it up for informational purposes. So it'll be in the link. But again, so while the rest of Israel is asleep, except for you, because you're here with me, you're not over there with Dowell and Jennings and Tony Evans and the rest of them playing footsies, drinking beer. Little this is cool. While they over there guzzling their beer on Shabbat, this is what I'm drinking. Right there. You see it? Oh, and this is what I'm eating. Right here. See that? Every day. Now, who you think you should be listening to? The drunkard eating his corn chips and potato chips? His pork, his pig, his hog? Brother Elder, who they claim bragging because he ain't walking around here sickly, because Yah is blessing him for being obedient to Yah's commandments. Who you think you should be listening to? I'll let you decide that. I think you're smart enough. Hallelujah. So I just wanted to get that little, for your information out the way. And so again, all of you parents and grandparents who have children or grandchildren at that age, you might want to share this video. Because chances are they don't know. They did it on a Friday evening, going into the weekend. Because they know most of our people like the OJs, living for the weekend. Right now, I'm living for the weekend. Because that's when I party down, party hardy, party down, party hardy, party on down. Ain't that us? Why shit's about to hit the fan. You better get them suits out the closet. Better get them black dresses out the closet. Get them black hats out. It's getting real. But again, Yah hasn't gone anywhere. Because if Yah was gone, I wouldn't be here. Those in your family who are talking to you, if you listen to this video, if somebody in your family share this video, Yah ain't gone because they're there. They're that lifeline for you, whether you take it or not. They're your lifeline. In other words, telling you it's time to stop the foolishness and come on back. Stop playing. Get real. It's serious. This is not a joke. This is not games they're playing out there in the Caribbean. What they're really doing is arming Cuba, and then they're going to go arm Venezuela and give them all kind of anti-defense missiles. Oh, and a couple of other missiles that can reach the White House in about 10 minutes. I mean, they can reach your house in less. Well, when I die, I'll be dead. Yeah, but then you're going to meet your judgment. And if you have not qualified for eternal life and the blessings of Yah, guess where you're going to be going? For eternity. Yeah. Right there. So don't let stubbornness and pride, idolatry and witchcraft get you in the way. Or get in your way, better said. It's time to hear. You know, what did Isaiah say in Isaiah chapter 6? Our dear sister Heather was reading that for us last night. But I'll go over there and read it, and we'll come back to the word. But look what Isaiah says. Don't let this be you, brothers and sisters. Don't have to be. I hope not. And I'm putting my hope where how you say, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, or my hope where my mouth is. In other words, I'm doing something about it. What am I doing about it? Right here in front of you. What are some of you doing about it? Helping and being a partner with me to be right here in front of you. Let's look at this. Look what it says. The book of Isaiah, chapter 6. I'll start reading at verse 10, verse 9. Look what it says here. It says, this is Isaiah. This is what was said to King, when this would happen when King Yahuwah died. And Adonai, or Elohim, was sitting upon his throne. He lifted up and he filled the train with his temple, or the train was filled with his temple. And there were seraphims. We don't have to go to that. Let's drop down to verse 9. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, verse 9. And he said, go and tell the people. Go and tell the people. That's what he's telling Isaiah. This is what I'm telling you. My job, as it was his job. Go and tell the people, hear you indeed, but understand not. And see you indeed, but you don't perceive it. He's saying, tell them, y'all are not listening. Y'all are listening to all these other people out there telling y'all don't believe us. They got it wrong. No, you need a savior. There's somebody else who died on the cross for you. Say, tell them that's not true. They won't listen to you though. They won't comprehend. In other words, they're going to blow it off. Yeah, right, whatever. He said that's what they're going to say. But he still said we had to tell them. So we're telling them. He said, but they're not going to perceive what you're saying. They're not going to understand what you're saying. Verse 10, he said, well, they'll understand, but they're not going to let it in. He said, make the heart of this people fat, means lazy. Make their eyes heavy, means, almost a state of drunkenness. When a person is drunk or intoxicated, their eyes are droopy. Well, most of the time, because I'm on other things and I that wide. Hallelujah. That's not a, anyway, the eyes are bucking out of their heads. He said, but to make the people, the heart of the people are fat. In other words, they're not going to listen. And make their ears heavy. And shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and they hear with their ears and understand with their heart and return and be healed. For all those who saying y'all want us sick. According to the book, if we keep his law, statutes, and commandments and turn back to you, he said we're going to be healed. But their Jesus, told them, oh no, you always going to have the sick with you, the poor with you. Yeah, that is what he said. That's not what Yahuwah said, though. That's not what the one who sits on the throne above. The Most High Yahuwah said, no. You turn to me, I'm healing you. I'm going to restore you. In other words, I'm going to bless you. Hallelujah. We'll get there in a moment. Let's read a little bit farther. Then said I, O Elohim, or O my Father, O Adonai. Well, how long? He said, how long is this going to go on? How long has this been going on? How long? I think it's a white group that sang that song. Journey, I think, is the name of that group. Don't hold me to that. Anyway. Verse 11, and then I said, Adonai, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitants. He said they're not going to listen until it's far too late. He said many of those who will watch this video, this message, are not going to listen until it's far too late. And the city becomes a wasteland. Their country becomes a wasteland. Because they thought we were trying to make them afraid, when we were actually doing was making them aware so that they could return back to Yahuwah, the sovereign one of Yasharel, our Redeemer, our Savior. But they, like they always do, they want to marginalize the truth and elevate the lies. That's what he means by dull of hearing, heavy eyes. You know what I'm saying? Tell me lies, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. That's what the majority want. That's what most of Israel wants. They want to be lied to. So therefore they stay Christian. Or they're not Christian, but they believe in Christian doctrine. I've never figured it out. You're not a Christian, but you're teaching the exact same thing that Christians teach. The book says, learn not, the religions of the people around you or the nations around you. And what are the people who are around us all over this country, probably all over, all over this earth? What are they all teaching? He said, don't learn what the other people or the other nations are learning. Don't do what they're doing. Don't worship the way they worship. Don't serve their gods or the gods they serve. And what are the nations around us doing? Because they're all serving some god. I don't know. Can you say Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, Catholicism? Because that's what they're doing. So he told us don't learn, to do what the nations around us are doing. Tell me why we're doing what they're doing again. Say it slow this time, because I need to perceive this. The fix is in. It's been in. Because they told you don't read the Torah. It's done away with. Don't read the testimonies. That's not necessary. Because they knew there lied Yah's truth. They knew there was the true revealing of Yah's people. The ones at the very top of the food chain, they always know who we were. That's why they use us as the face of debauchery. Judah in particular. Not in their Pride Month. You got people like one of the Waning brothers, what I forget his name, Marlon, sitting around there with rainbow little balls, look like little tennis balls with his rainbow colors on, with his little gay pose. The little, boy, I'm about to call it the B look. Brother, y'all know what I mean when I say the B look. That little B look on it. I don't care what nobody says. My child is a part of the LGBTQ community, and I'm going to represent. Yeah, nobody give a damn about your burned out, wore out, crack looking, dumb, stupid, untalented ass. Dude, who you think you impressing? You're used to be wannabe. Nobody cares about you. You're just doing that to keep trying to get some recognition. Maybe they'll give you a little gay money. You know what you're up to. You're not clever. You're just a fool, a useful idiot. But you're not alone, Marlon. So, hey, I hope you feel good about yourself, because you're going to burn in hell for promoting what Yah said is an abomination. But let's go on. And all those like you, or who agree with you. But he says, what, the land will be without inhabitant, and the houses without a man. The houses without a man. And the land will be utterly desolate. You know what utterly means? Utterly means totally. When you see that word utterly, it really means totally. Oh, it's the same word, that's what I'm saying. Same definition. Utterly and totally is the same thing. He said it's going to be totally desolate. Why? Because when the truth came to Yasharel in these last days, as Yah said he would, as a warning, like Noah did 120 years, like we are doing in the end of time right now, said people were not going to listen. They don't want to hear it. Who are you? Who you think you are? I told you I ain't no Christian, so why you over talking to me like I'm a Christian? Well, I'm going to ask you, what do you teach? Do you teach out of the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke, John? Huh? Do you teach out the book from the book of Acts down to the book of Revelations? Because that's where the Christians get their information from. Just so you know. So you explain to me, if you're teaching what they're teaching, you know how foolish you look when you say you don't believe what they believe in? Just because you call them by a different name? I'll let you marinate on that. Verse 12. And Yahuwah have removed man far away, and there will be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. Know what a great forsaking? In other words, saying impiety, unbelief, hard-headedness, a push towards wickedness, a celebration of evil. Forsaking Yah means forsaking his Torah. They don't want to hear nothing about the Torah. No, we under grace. That means we can do whatever we want to do, because Jesus somehow or another died for the whole world's sins, including the rapists, pedophiles, soul stealing enslavers too. It takes a whole lot of faith to believe that. When you can just come right over to the book and believe that your ancestors believed, Yasharel. All you have to do is have confidence that Yah does not change. He said he never changed. All you have to do is have the confidence to believe what he said. Yah is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent. If he said it, he's going to do it. He said, that's Numbers 23 and 19. Jeremiah talks about it as well. Jeremiah chapter 17. You go over to Malachi 3 and 6. I am Yahuwah. I am Adonai. I change not. Therefore you, Israel, are not destroyed. He does not change. Ever. But they told you somehow or another he did. You can't find anywhere in the Torah he said he's going to have a new covenant. But they told you he does have a new covenant. The same one that the heathens believe. That same covenant they practice. The same God they worship. You call him Yahweh Shai, or you call him Jesus. You call him Yahushua. They call him Lord God. Or the Most High. That means any damn thing. Anything we'll do, coexist. We all just get along? That's you. Nobody know the Father's name, makes you a bastard, but you don't care. It said, forsaking a great, again, the book of Isaiah 6:12, and there will be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. A great rejecting of the truth, even though the truth is here. We'll pull back the curtains on the lie of the New Testament. We pull back the curtain and expose all the lies that's there, and yet our people still, nah, I don't care. That's our attitude. I don't care. Don't tell me. Stop talking. That's Israel. Stop talking to me. Stop talking. I don't want to hear. I'm mad at you. I'm mad. Help me, Jesus. Help me. He ain't coming to help you. You ain't figured that out yet. Or you'll send one of them little occultic gods to do something for you. You know what I'm saying? You stay with him long enough, yeah, he'll drop you some crumbs here and there. They're not, when he called a woman a bitch or a dog, and she said, even the dog eat the crumbs from the master's table. He said, damn, she right. So he'll give you some crumbs, but that's all you get. Some crumbs. Like a little rat or roach, parasite, how he treats you. Or you come over here and be with the men and women who are strong and powerful and mighty in Yahuwah. Yep. Come over here. Because we absolutely inviting you. We don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. All we have is a word of truth for you. Joshua. We're giving you an invitation to come back home where you belong. This book is written for you. Torah was written for you, Israel. The Shabbat was created for you, Israel, not for the other nations. The New Testament was created for everybody, but the Torah and Tanakh just for us. Again, the New Testament was for everybody, all inclusive, universal. Just like the Catholic, the universal religion. All religions are encompassed in the New Testament. For anybody. Again, pedophiles, liars, cheats, stars, whoremongers, assaults, murders, you name it, they over there. Homosexuals, all of them over there. Killers of babies, all of them over there. You can come over there, come. Come one, come all. Let Jesus fix it. And you will never have to fix anything. Sounds very tempting, doesn't it not? But I don't know. All of that they're saying is okay over there is condemned over here. And we know who wrote that. Or at least it's not clear who wrote that. Better say it. Some say the Piso family. Some say Jesuit priests wrote it. Some said some of it was written by emperors. Some say, different kings put their stamp on it. King James, for instance. But over here, we know for a fact who wrote this. This was written by the hand of the iron pen with the diamond tip of those who are called and assigned by Yahuwah, as well as those who are called and assigned by Yahuwah to teach it. Hallelujah. Times are wasting. Clock is ticking. I don't know why. I have a feeling that this word is hitting the heart now. Somebody's getting hit in the heart. In other words, the truth is starting to reveal itself. The scales are falling off your eyes. At least I hope. That's my goal. That's my ambition. That's my assignment, to warn you. I hope you listen. Hope you turn back. Again, go back and read Ezekiel chapter. Here, brothers and sisters, y'all know we always have our hammer and saw. So I've given you scriptures and precepts. Not as many as usual, but you got enough. Go over there and read it. It says that some will hear and change, others will hear and don't. Some will be refreshed and others will stay stagnant, comfortable. Regardless of what's going on, all the signs that something is wrong. Hallelujah. All the signs are there. I was in there, and I'm still here, and I want to do a little bit more. I'm going to share a little bit more, but let me give you a quick little testimony. A couple of days ago, I was in a little convenience store making a purchase. I was on one side of the store making a purchase because they had they had a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm laughing because, we're not supposed to be eating no donuts, okay? So if you don't ask me, I ain't going to tell you what I was doing over there, all right? But I did make a purchase. And he was on the other side, this young man. If I was to guess, looked like he may have been I don't know, he was Latin for sure. Maybe Dominican, maybe Puerto Rican, not sure. But he was of that degree, not Hispanic. But anyway, if I was guessing, I'd say Puerto Rican. Okay, and he was coming out the door at the same time I was coming out the door. He was probably in his early 30s, and he was so close to me that I didn't want to let the door go and hit him because the door would have fell back on him or hit him. So I held the door open, and he came through, and we greeted one another. And I went to my vehicle, and he was going to, back to his vehicle, which was a truck that he was, company he worked for. He was in the company vehicle, delivery truck. But right before he got right past my truck, he stopped and said, "Can I ask you something?" I said, "Yeah, you can ask me." I was a little surprised. I said, "Well, okay, what do he want?" I said, "I just want to know." He said, "Something is going on." He said, "I don't know. I'm just bothered." He said, I'm just bothered. Now, early that morning, by the way, I was being bothered too. Just to give you something to compare and contrast. I was feeling a certain level of, not a forsakingness. I was just feeling, just somewhat melancholy. Like, yeah, how long? How long? How much longer before you come? And I asked you out for a sign. You know how it is, brothers and sisters. When, we really are longing. I guess the word was longing, not forsaken. I wasn't forsaken. I was longing. And, when you're longing, sometimes, you have to stop and reflect and pray and just get out of it. Don't stay there. The enemy will come in and try to trap you there. So when I'm longing, I just stop. I just pray and just ask y'all, just, if you don't mind, pretty please, with ice cream, and cherry on top, show me a sign. He doesn't have to, but I do it anyway. Sometimes he does. But keep that in mind. So anyway, so as he was sharing with me how he was feeling, a sense of dread, a sense of hopelessness. But he wasn't talking, not just him. He said, something is going on in the earth. He said, he said, brother, I don't know what it is, but something is going on. Just something is not right. He said, do you feel that? I said, young man, you asked the right person that question. I said, I 100% feel it. Now, just random, two men coming and going. Just random, but it wasn't random. It was Yah showing himself strong on my request of my longing earlier today. And he was really telling me, you're not alone, brother DFG. Anyone that's on this area right now that's not feeling that something is wrong with them. Just instinctively, you should feel it. And if you're Israel, Yah has put in us, brothers and sisters, just so you know. That's why he tells men to grow your beards. You follow me? And women, you know what I'm saying? Don't be putting nothing, on your head that's not natural. I'm just telling you the truth. That's your head, you do what you want to do with it. But remember them folk who's selling you that stuff, they pray over that stuff and cast all kinds of spells over there because they want that stuff to sell. And so they take that stuff before their gods, and their gods, bless that stuff, and you got that stuff in your head, blocking out your natural connection between you and the Father. Just letting you know. Now, you do with that what you want to do. You can leave it in, but I wouldn't, anyway. But those things are for us. Our hair stuff, it's why it's thicker, different texture, because it's a built-in antenna. When they have stringy hair and things like that, that doesn't have that texture to it, it doesn't work like that. That's why they got to get information. But they have to go and learn. We know it intuitively. I'm talking about things of life, natural things, natural things, natural things, natural things. We understand that intuitively. Well, they have to go get educated. Then they have to write books, self-help books to help them remember and recall what they have to learn unnaturally. Self-help books are the most sold books on the planet, on the earth, I'm sorry. Self-help books. And most of our people have never read a self-help book. Well, except for the most important book. So what they have to, go and research and publish, we have it innately. It's a part of our DNA. But because we're so polluted through bad diet, we're so polluted because of unhealthy living, that our natural instincts are malfunctioning. Truth be told, we're supposed to be just like nature. Whenever it's about to rain, you notice you don't see birds flying through thunderstorms. You don't see ants floating on the water, when it's flooding in the streets. You know why? Because there's a built-in instinct, because they were created by the Most High, that they sense something is wrong. And therefore they take precautions. See, we sense something is wrong, but most of us are not taking any precautions. And that's what the young man was saying. I sense something wrong. Oh, by the way, yeah, he did have a beard. His was black. Otherwise, he's a young man. And when I told him no, I said, young man, you asked the right person that question. I 100% agree with you. It was almost like it was a sigh of relief. He just, seriously. You can see his shoulders just drop. Thought I was losing my mind. I said, nah, brother. He said, you know what? Interesting enough. He said, God bless you. Now, how that guy picked me out of the, I like that. I know why, because the Shekinah glory is, if you love Yah the way your brother loved Yah, your elder loved Yah, you'll be able to pick me out of a crowd. I'm talking about if you're looking, you'll see me. I'm not talking about 6'2", 200 pounds me. No, I'm talking about the energy that I have for Yah in me. You'll catch it. He caught it. But Yah used him also to reassure me that he heard me earlier today. He said, nah, this longing is justified. The clock is ticking. But in the meantime, you keep on doing what you're doing, Brother DFG, Elder, Watchman, righteous judge of Yasharel. Warn my people. Some will listen, most won't. But you keep warning them all the same. And that's what I'm going to do. I hope many of you who have coming out, those of you who have come out, I already know you're doing it. Hallelujah. And in these last days, Yah has no respect of age. Got young people with us, Brother Franklin, mid-20s. They show up for the studies. Sister Cynthia, late 20s. Sister Nicole, Sister Tanya, mid-early 40s. Then we got our wonderful older, not elderly, but elder daughters. Sister Anita, Sister Sheila Davis, Sister Maria, Sister Shauna, Sister Heather now, Sister Emily coming, Sister Maxine. All looking, all wanting to know, all wanting to learn, all wanting to make a difference. All wanting to be redeemed. Sister Sharon Cole, our United Kingdom sister. And there are others, Brother Davison, Brother Mendez, wasn't with us, but there are others there. Brother Sharif, they're there. Sister Mary Ellen, the stranger who loves Yahuwah. Others, strangers out there. You know who you are. You follow this channel because you know this is truth here. But the clock is ticking. There's a final calm before the storm happening right now. So that everybody can hear it. We call it the awakening. The true Israelites now know who they are. No matter how they try to hide it, they can't hide it now. The heathens will be revealed for who they are and the wickedness they have done. Whether it be the African heathens or the European heathens or the Asian heathens, because they all have been vicious towards our people. Just go a little bit farther in their history, you'll see it. Go live amongst them, you'll definitely feel it. So the clock is ticking. It's a calm before the storm. They're saying they're going to snatch our young people up, put them in their military, fight their war, let them die so their children can live. They're going down in the bunkers, hiding in their bug out places, waiting for the storm to pass. And all people just kind of whistling Dixie. Wish I was in a land of cotton. Old man, whatever, soon forgotten. Look away, turn your head, old Dixieland. Shucking and jiving. And we should be teaching and striving. Shucking and jiving, and we should be teaching the Torah and striving, winning. But here we are. But let me finish here. Book of Isaiah chapter 6 verse 12. I'll read 12 again. And Yahuwah has removed men far away, and there shall be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. Forsaking Yah and his truth. They're going to stay in religion, no matter what we tell them. Daughters, women of Zion, same thing. They hear this truth. They just will argue with me, call me crazy, call me whatever. Like, I care. Well, I care to the degree that, I do believe in an eye for an eye. I care like that, but I don't care beyond that. It ain't gonna change me is what I'm saying. There's gonna be a great forsakening in the land, forsaking Yahuwah and his Torah. Verse 13. Now this is where it gets better. For all y'all that was, oh man, brother DFG, I'm just crying. I understand when you brothers over there crying, I ain't changing. Right, Mike Malice, you little wicked ass. I ain't changing. Yeah, you. Cry, baby. Nah, I'll stop. But anyway, I was just going to tease a little more like Isaiah when he's teasing those prophets of Baal. You know what I'm saying? You ought to have a sense of humor. Trust me. I really do, believe it or not. Big one. Anyway. But it says here, this is to encourage you, Israel. But yet it shall be a tenth, and it shall return, that tenth. And it shall be eaten, in other words, they're going to reject us, as a tile tree, and as an oak, whose substance is in us. And when they cast their leaves, so the holy seed shall be the substance of ours. So no, when we bring forth these words, our words are going to be like seeds. They're going to reject us. Like they were saying they could kill us, but they can't eat us. They'll try, some will. But he's saying in all that rejection, our words are still going to be like seeds. And those seeds will grow more trees. That's why we got to speak up. We got to cry aloud. Let our voices be heard. We got to come together. We got to be united. We got to be loyal. We got to mean what we say and say what we mean. We got to keep our word. And if we do that, then no weapon formed against us will prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Yah will come and fight on our behalf. Vengeance is mine. He's going to repay him, as he said in Deuteronomy chapter 32 and 35. Yah will give us strength to fight. We don't have to be cowardly. As he said in Psalms 144, 1 and 2, the strength of Yahuwah teaches my hands to war and my fingers to fight. Yah will be with us, as he said in Isaiah 59 and 19, when the enemy comes in like a flood, when it seems like all is lost, Yah said, no, I'm going to bring you up. I'm going to rise you up out of the midst of it. See, there's hope. There's hope. Question you have to ask yourself, how much do you love Yahuwah? Because that's going to determine whether you're hoping in vain or you're hoping with a surety. How much do you love him? Do you love him enough to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments as they apply? Do you love him with all your heart, all your mind, all your strength? Do you acknowledge that he's one sovereign Elohim? Because if you do, all the blessings await you. All his promises. That's why David can say in Psalms 37 and 25, he said, I'm old, but I was once young. He said, in all of my life, the one thing I saw consistently, that he said the righteous was never forsaken. They thought, well, you can't keep the Torah. Well, they kept it in David's day, and he said the righteous was never forsaken. Tell him to go explain that. And he went on to say, in the seed never will beg and break. So they wasn't broke either. So tell them to explain that. Those who want to tell you, you better off in poverty. Poverty means, that Yah is with you. That's foolishness. Nothing but an old, wise fable written to keep us with a poor mentality. A slave mentality, a sickness mentality, helplessness, the ultimate victimhood mentality. When Yah said, no, I created the Torah, and I created, this whole Tanakh, and I gave you a Shabbat that says if you obey it, I will bless you and keep you and make you strong. And sickness will not be at your door. You would be able to give. He said you'd be a lender. Hallelujah. Your storehouse will be full. And he said that's going to happen when some new Jesus, because Jesus told you to die and wait for a mansion, remember? Die and wait for a mansion. Go figure that one out. Therefore, when I be, you going to be there too. When you die. Not now though. But the person who pushed that on you, they living high on the hill, as they say. Eating high off the hog while you eating chitlin, guts. Hog guts, abominable foods, abominable lies, treachery, treacherous people. In Israel, by the way, who helping them push those lies. But y'all gonna get them. They're not gonna get away with it. They running and they're running. They're running with that gospel. They're running with their epistle. They're running with the new name for Jesus. But they ain't going nowhere. Going fast, but they're not going anywhere. Y'all gonna get them. I'm here to warn you. If you're a part of that group, I'm warning you. Y'all gonna get you. Oh yeah. I know you don't believe me, but I'm probably older than you, and I know I've been studying more than most of you. 40 some odd years, so I don't know. You might want to consider respecting the knowledge. Some of you who want to tell me what to do, I would have been old enough to be one. If you could be my child, I would have been buying your Pampers, changing your little dirty butt. And now you're arrogant and I don't know nothing but you do. And we both learning from the same book. And Yah told you to honor your elders, listen to your elders, listen to the ancient ones. But you say, no, I ain't listening to nobody. That's you, right? All right. Gotcha. But Yah is the ultimate score settler, the ultimate judge. And he judged with his eyes open. He judged in knowledge. He judged in his truth. He judged according to his word. And if he said there is no other Elohim, there is no other Savior, there is no other Redeemer, that's what he meant. Can we go right there and then we'll wrap it up, brothers and sisters? Come on, let's go over to the book of Isaiah, chapter 45. Y'all ready? Hallelujah. Y'all heard that? It heard me. Quiet now. Thus says Yahuwah, book of Isaiah 45 and 1. Thus says Yahuwah to his anointed, to Korash, whose right hand I have held, to subdue the nations before him. And I will loose the loins of the kings, to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut. In other words, he's saying, I'm going to bring forth the truth. I will go before you, and I will make the crooked places straight. This is a promise that Yahweh is a promise to all of us. He says, he will go before us. That's where Solomon said, I'm sorry. Trust in Yah with all your might. Not sorry, but let me clarify. Let me get this out. That's what Proverbs said in Proverbs 3 and 5. Trust in Yahuwah with all your might. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. In other words, he will make sure your crooked paths are made straight. So you're not all over the place, back and forth. You're not in a state of confusion. Who do I pray to? Jesus or Yahushua or Yahushua or who? Or God? Who? Or the God that don't have no who? Y'all say, I'm going to clean all that up. You pray to me. He said, I will go before you and make the crooked places straight. And I will break in pieces the gates of the brass. And I will cut in sunder the bars of the iron. He says, I'm going to disprove all of their New Testament, Book of the Dead, Quran, Talmud, all their lies. So I'm going to break it. And I will give you the treasures of the darkness, the secret things, and the hidden riches of the secret places, that you may know that I, Yahuwah, which call you by your name, I am the Elohim of Yasharel. See how specific he is? Not the whole world, Israel. The heathens conflated it and told you it was for everybody. Because they wanted to pollute the sanctuary. They wanted to pollute the people of Yah. He said, no, I'm the Holy One of Yasharel. Hallelujah. Let me read that again. He said, chapter 45, Isaiah, verse 3. I will give you the treasures of darkness. I will give you the treasures of darkness, understanding the secret things. That's what Proverbs was talking about. Chapter 1. Put your hand right there and then come right over here. And then we'll come right back. Look what Proverbs chapter 1 says. This is the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, the king of Yasharel. 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 It's all about us. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice. Wisdom, in other words, is equity. Wisdom, justice, and judgment. Well, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. And equity. Wisdom is understanding, a revealing of the truth. Yah's knowledge, or Yah's revelation knowledge, better said. To give subtlety to the simple, the young man knowledge and discretion. And this applies to the young brothers out there that are serving Yahuwah. You young men, y'all know who you are. And the wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. He don't have a problem listening to wisdom, a wise man. So for all you brothers who sitting it out, oh, I know that already. Why are you sitting it out? If you were really wise, you wouldn't be sitting it out. If you were really wise, you'd run to the council. Where they at today? Where they going to be tomorrow? I'll be there. The power of Yahuwah draws you. It doesn't scatter you. So if you truly are redeemed, redeemed means obedient Israelite, warrior, soldier, then when the war council calls, you're supposed to show up. Not when the bullets start flying. You're supposed to come up to strategize, to understand your role when the bullets start flying. But I'm afraid some of you are MIA, missing in action. And you're justifying it. Doing your own thing. And created a God for yourself. Or unfortunately, in some cases, made yourself a God. Be careful. You're treading on thin ice, as they say. Look what it says in verse 6. To understand a proverb and the interpretation of, that's the secret thing. And the words of the wise, the dark sayings. That's what he's talking about in Isaiah 45. The dark saying. That's wisdom. That's Yah revealing things to us. In these last days, he's revealing to us his truth, the signs of the time. Why all this, horrific actions and iniquity everywhere. The sense of feeling of dread everywhere, except for those, the 110. We have a longing, but we're not dreading anything. We have a guarantee. Yahuwah is our guarantee. We have a guaranteed ticket out of this mess. 1/10 of us. What about the 9/10? What about if it's 1/10 got this? What are the other 9/10 got? Have you ever thought about that? What are the masses doing? Because when it says 1/10 is not doing, it means the masses, that means 9/10 also. That means 9 out of 10 people doing something different. What are they doing? What are you doing? Are you doing what the 9/10 are doing? Or you came out and you're only doing what the 1/10 of us are doing? Something else to reflect upon. Think about. Ask yourself. Thousands of people are going to be at church tomorrow. Thousands and thousands, so I should say millions and millions, probably billions tomorrow. Some today. We really should be today is at home. Wherever you reside. Not traveling anywhere on Shabbat. It says not to go anywhere. You can't even go see your neighbor on Shabbat. What are you doing traveling down the streets, walking up and down the roads? That's not what the book says. It says you're supposed to be home. Not doing your own pleasure either. Spending time resting, reflection, trusting, building up your strength. Getting information to build up your strength. That's why many of you come here on Shabbat to be before your brother or to sit with your brother, your elder. But he said what the majority are doing, we're supposed to be doing just the opposite. And that's how you know that the New Testament is a lie, because most people are doing that. Even the ones who say they're not Christians. Very few are doing this. Denying that and saying, no, it's Yahuwah and Yahuwah alone. But let's go back to 45. Isaiah 45, verse 3 again. And I will give you treasures of darkness and the hidden riches of the secret places, that you may know that I am Yahuwah, which call you by your name. I am Yahuwah of Yasharel, or Israel, for Jacob, my servant's sake, and Yasharel, my elect, and Yasharel, Yahuwah's elect, and Yasharel, Yahuwah's elect. So it doesn't matter what anyone else out there is saying. You strangers, you heathens, it doesn't matter what you say. We don't care that you're angry, or you are envious, or you are jealous, or you call us liars. You say whatever you want to say. Because when you call us a lie, you call Yah a lie, which makes you a blasphemous, wicked, hell-bound, on with fire, gasoline draws, headed to hell. Now put that in your pot and cook it. But for the elect among us, Yah said it. Don't let anybody shame you for being chosen. Israel, don't let anybody shame you for being chosen. Because they're going to try. Jealous, envious. Let me tell you something. No, you don't need to tell us nothing. When they talking, think about, y'all remember the Charlie Brown, if you're old enough, y'all remember the Charlie Brown cartoons? Remember when Charlie Brown would be in his class, in the classroom, and he'd be daydreaming about Snoopy? Snoopy would be like the little Snoopy pilot flying on this little doghouse. Remember that? And the teacher would be talking in the background. Y'all remember that? And Charlie Brown would be daydreaming, you know, and the teacher would be talking, yeah, womp, 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 womp. Womp, 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 womp. Womp, 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 womp. That's how they need to sound to you, brothers and sisters, when they want to attack you for this truth. Just act like you're Charlie Brown, dreaming of the wonderful things, unimaginable things that Yah said he has in store for those of us who love and trust him and keep his Torah. Just let them be like the teachers. Just let their noise be womp, 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 quacking like ducks, you know, geese headed south. All right? Don't pay any attention to them. But they know not what they do. Using their little wicked words. Hallelujah. But he says again, Isaiah 45:4, for Jacob, my servant's sake, Yasharel, my elect, I have even called you by your name. I have surnamed you, though you have not known me. Said we didn't even know him. We thought he was somebody else. We thought there was some other savior, some other redeemer for us. We were lied to, hoodwinked, bamboozled, tricked into religion. And now Yah is undoing their sorcery. He's using voices like mine as his weapon now to break the chains, to break the brass, to break the iron, the chains. Hallelujah. Verse 5, he says, I am Yahuwah, and there is none else. There is no Elohim besides me. I can't get any simpler than that. I am Yahuwah, and there is none else. There is no Elohim besides me. So there were three gods. Some say. I thought Buddha, Krishna, Allah, Kali, Krishna, the African gods. He said there is no other. They're all in some form of sorcery, is what he's saying. Divination. Oh, they got power over there, but it ain't from Yah. It's from the aberration, from the demons. And it's all to set them up, to get them to trust in the demon gods. And they're going to get progressively worse. See, the land has become desolate, remember? The men will not, there will be no men in the homes. Remember that? They're going to be out to war, the young ones, soon to come. Those who are rebelling against Yahuwah. Verse 5, I am Yahuwah, there's none else. There is no Elohim besides me. I've girded you, which means I've protected you, from all harm with my word. My word is a wall or a shield around you, is what he's saying. When he said, I girded you, that's the equivalent of what he's saying. He said, my word is like a shield around you, so that no weapon formed against you will prosper, Yasharel. When you're in his word, when you're serving him, the sovereign one. That's what he said. My word is like a shield. That's what Proverbs 30:5 said. Every word of Yah is pure. It's like a shield around those, right, who love him, who obey him. He said, I have girded you, though you have not known me. That's why Again, Malachi 3 and 6, that's why we're not utterly destroyed, why there's still some of us here. That they may know from the rising of the sun, from the west, that there is none besides me. I am Yahuwah, and there is none else. I form the light, and I create darkness. I make peace, and I create evil. Oh yeah. All this is Satan doing it to me? Nah, sometimes it's y'all doing it to you. He said, I created evil. Well, he's just saying he created the demons. No, he's saying what he said. See, that's why you need to be studying with us. Because if you go read the book of Judges chapter 2, you'll see Yah said, I did evil to you because you rebelled against the judges that I placed among you to judge you, to direct you back to me. He said, so you rejected the judges, so guess what? I'm going to do evil to you. It says that. Go read Judges chapter 2. Hallelujah. Verse 7. Again, I form light and I create darkness. I make peace and I create evil. I, Yahuwah, do all these things. Hallelujah. So, brothers and sisters, I'm going to stop it right here. So, that's about far as we need to go today on this Shabbat, this great day, but many last day. You know, we were talking just the other day. Many of you may know this already, but statistically speaking, all these people say, well, they've been talking about the end of the world for a long time, Elder. They've always been saying that. Cemetery full of people who thought the end of the world was coming. That's what they're going to tell you. Say the cemetery is full of people who thought the end of the world is coming. They were right. You know what I'm saying? They were right. The end of the world did come. For them, that's why they're in the cemetery. So in actuality, they were right. The end of the world was coming. And the end of the world is coming. Some of us will see the final judgment. Others of us just won't see the light no more. Unless it's the fire light in that pit. But it's coming. You know, statistically, just in the United States. See, one of the things that I studied in corporate America was geographics, demographics. You know what they are. Geographic are places and locations, and demographics are people. So, but when you're looking at geographics, demographics, that makes you understand better statistics. Statistically speaking, where I'm going here, do you know that 8,000 Americans die every day? 8,000 Americans. Think about that. Every day, 8,000 Americans die every day. 8,000. That's the equivalent of 3.2 million every single year. For whatever, natural causes, car accidents, murder, all the reasons one dies. And yet you have people walking around here, you know, boasting about tomorrow. I got time. I don't believe. Jesus saves, but you dying. Jesus saved, but you sick. Jesus saved, but you poor. Jesus saved, but you're hated by all the nations who also believe in your Jesus or your Hawashah or Yahushua or whatever new name you give them. Or whatever name they have for theirs. They'll hate you though. I don't know if we all can agree with that. For the most part. Most of them. It's a rare exception. So that to be said, it's just saying to my brothers and sisters, look, tomorrow's not promised. It's coming one way or the other, brothers and sisters. Alright? So since you know it's coming, wouldn't it be wise to prepare for it? Since you know it's coming, wouldn't it be advantageous for you to make sure that you got all your proverbial ducks in a row? If it says it's going to be desolate, it's going to be that bad, men going to be scarce. Women are going to be in situations where they're going to, for the most part, be helpless. Talking about the 9/10, by the way, not the 1/10. Just read that to you in Isaiah chapter 6. Now come on, go back and read it again. He said, why? Because they closed their eyes to the truth. They covered their ears for the truth. They wanted the heathens redeemer. They wanted the heathen savior. They didn't want their savior. They didn't want Yahuwah. They wanted someone else. And they let the heathens told them they needed somebody else. And they believed them. Therefore, their end is already determined, predetermined, except they repent and turn back. So, share this message with them. You meditate on it, you reflect on it, play it again, thumb it up, share it, whatever you need to do. But I told you the truth. I told you the truth, Joshua. And I'm still here. You're still there. And Yah's everywhere. Watching it all play out. So come back. Clock's ticking. For you. I want to say thank you to Brother Jose, Sister Jackson, Sister Davis, Brother Mendez, for your partnership, and all you others who partner with your brother and continue to. You help me, help us. Hallelujah. That being said, I hope you have a blessed Shabbat. Who was it? Sister Jackson was telling, she read Jubilees chapter 50 about the Shabbat. You might want to give that a read, brothers and sisters, today while you're doing your study. All right? A lot of information there. But again, to brothers and sisters, I want to just say thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Share the message. For my brothers and sisters who are with us on the Tanakh studies, thank you. For those of you who want to, be with us on the Tanakh studies, that's Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time. So be sure you understand the time zone, because you get on at 7 o'clock Central time, we're going to be off, or getting off, okay? So you got to do your time zone, right? All right, I want to thank all my brothers and sisters who are participating in Zoom calls with us, because we just strengthen these. It's iron sharpens iron, as Sister Cynthia Davis told us. Cynthia Ellis, I always call her Sister Cynthia Ellis told us Proverbs 27:17. Sister Ellis brought that out again last night. Iron sharpens iron. So as a brother sharpens his friend. All right, that's what we do on our hangouts. All right. With that being said, if you have any questions, be sure to email me again. I appreciate if you drop something in the comments, push the algorithm, all right? All right, with that being said, may Yahuwah bless you, protect you, keep you, that you have a repentant heart, a humble ruach, that you love him and you love him only. If you're in the darkness, come to the light while you have a chance, okay? I remind you, brothers and sisters, the information on the military draft that these Democrats who our people love so much just sold us out again. Not going to have your children fighting their wars. They ain't going to be there. You can't even be in the Senate or in the Congress unless you're at least 25. You notice they stopped the age at 26, 18 to 26. That means they would never have to go fight the wars that they are proving for our children, your children, our grandchildren to fight. And I guarantee if they do have grandchildren, they got all kind of exemptions that they know about to circumvent it. Like they were doing, have always done to avoid going to the military. To fight. But Trump wasn't there. Clinton wasn't there. Biden wasn't there. But they talking all that war talk. But somehow or another, they wasn't there. They wasn't fighting for us. Just saying. All right. That to be said, brothers and sisters. Thanks you again. Praise Yahuwah. Get the message out. Get the word out. Okay? It's wrapping up. Elder DFG. Yahuwah Shalom. Yasharah.